The late. You're of Mexican heritage, aren't you, Eric?
I am, proudly, yes.
And you went with the lazy approach. Eric, quick question. If you were French, would you?
Okay, so then he's going to go and do a bunch of other racist stereotypes. Yeah, so this is David Wood. And Eric Hernandez, who's somebody that I actually have covered on this channel before. It's been a minute. But he's just funny. I don't know. He just reminds me more of just like a regular evangelical that I would have, known back at my church or something like that. Anyway, this David Wood guy is obsessed with him being Mexican for some reason, and playing the music in the background and making just jokes about. I don't know. We're gonna get into it. It's get ready for some cringe because it's gonna come full tilt. So we're gonna get into it. I am Brentley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. If you want, you could smash that like button. I'd appreciate it. If you like this kind of content, it's like where we react and respond to Fundie too. That's what we do around here. So if you want to hit that like button, you could subscribe too. If you're not subscribed. So we have a lot of fun. It's a good time. Live streams. It's fun. All right, here we go. This is, like I said, this is on David Wood's channel, and he's got Eric Hernandez coming over and hanging out, and he's promoting his book in the most inappropriate way possible. I don't know.
You're about to hear something you've never heard before and something you will never forget, even if you live to be a trillion. I'm here with my main man, Eric Hernandez, who is the author of
The Lazy Approach to Evangelism, a simple guide for conversing with non-believers.
That's the fun. The funniness is that he's Mexican. Remember, that's the joke.
You're of Mexican heritage, aren't you, Eric?
I am, proudly, yes.
And you went with the lazy approach. Eric, quick question. If you were French, would you make a book titled "The Smelly Cheese Gobbling French Loser's Guide to Evangelism"?
Well, no.
Is he saying that see it right there? It's like either maybe I don't understand the joke, or I feel like he was so thoughtless about what he's doing here that he just said like a apparently that's a stereotype for French people. I didn't know, anyway, but he's saying that that's like the stereotype for French people, but the whole thing is that he's trying to say Mexicans aren't lazy, yet now he's asking them, would you make a book with the stereotype in the title? And it's like, but he didn't. He did the opposite. Anyway, it doesn't make sense on any level here. Yet he thinks this is just this is the funniest shit ever to this angry white man. Yeah.
If you were Irish, would you make the Drunken Irishman's Guide to Evangelism or something like that?
So he's literally saying that Mexicans are lazy. Is that what he's saying? That's what it feels like he's saying, right? Because he's like, why would an Irishman be like, this is the drunk, the drunk redheaded guys. I don't know. It's the math pigs. The drunk redheaded guys guide to evangelical, whatever, but that's the stereotype. So he's literally saying that Mexicans are
it'd be kind of a stereotype, right? Mexicans are hard workers.
So what you just said earlier doesn't make any sense then, man, because it's not the stereotype. God damn.
Hard workers.
You don't
lean in.
Hold on.
Clear on that.
You don't.
Everyone else.
You don't do it's not the stereotype. I don't understand. He's saying why would you title it "Not the Stereotype"? What, man? Why are you talking? Holy shit, your brain is so stuck on fucking racial stereotypes. God damn.
Out there. to know that. So anyway, I recommended a different title, a title change. If Eric wanted to lean into his Mexican heritage.
Stop it, David Wood. Stop your racist fucking ass. Just stop.
I suggested how to beat an atheist like a piñata.
Okay.
Oh my God. Just stop. Please just stop. That was,
And didn't want to go for that, but.
And also bringing violence into it somehow. How to beat the fuck out of a fucking dipshit. I hate atheists so much. I hate them as bad as I hate myself. Like, what the
As
fuck?
we were brainstorming ideas for how his book can be less racist, we came up with an approach.
You're being the racist here, man. Like, you're the one that's obsessed with this. Like, I don't think the laziness in the title really had anything to do with the atheist. I mean, with his Mexicanness. You're tying that bow, buddy. Okay. It seems to me that it's just like a normal word to put into like, hey, here's an easy way to evangelize to atheists, whatever the fuck. Like, he's the one drawing this, like, oh, lazy, that Mexicans lazy. That's a
which we call the taco approach.
Oh my good God. What is happening? Why are you doing this? Why, Dave? Like, why did Eric? Why are you letting him do this? Why, like, why do? And I swear it's a fucking conservative thing. It's like that self-hate conservative thing where your culture is just like a joke to them. It's like the way that the white community views like everybody's culture is like what they need to lean into or something with these conservative. It's just so fucking weird, man. Like, I don't know.
The T is for.
It just feels so disrespectful. Not to mention, at least get like a fucking like actual Mexican. Was that Taco Bell? Did they really pull up the Taco Bell? Hold on, let me go back here.
Which we call the taco approach.
It is Taco Bell. Jesus Christ. Okay. Wow. All right. Now that's whatever, man. Like, that's not even actually. It's text. That's Tex-Mex. Never mind. They don't even know. They don't even know that's not. I mean, I'm sure Eric Hernandez knows. David Wood doesn't know. He's like, where can we get a taco? Like, right now, because we got to do this bit. Because you're Mexican. No, we got to do this bit. Let's go to Taco Bell right now. We got to do this. Okay. I wrote it down 5 minutes before you got here. You're cool with this, right? Yeah, you're cool. He's cool. I don't even care if you're cool. All right. It's like, Jesus Christ.
The T is for teleological. Eric, give us one of the many teleological arguments for the existence of God.
Yeah, so you've got a few. Teleology basically means it infers design, and you have the fine-tuning of the...
And he's still got the music going in the background and everything. I'm just, dude, I don't know, whatever.
Universe, that in order for life to exist, the parameters need to be so fine-tuned, and if they were just off by a hair's margin, no life at all would exist.
Then why is there adaptation at all, dude? Like, I never understand this when they like, if it's off just by the tiniest bit, then nothing can exist. Then why is there adaptation, man? It's not a hair, because otherwise it would just be, nothing would need to adapt ever. But that kind of demonstrates that there wasn't a God in charge that didn't make everything the way that it has to be, because things adapt. Because if a God did make everything, you'd expect everything to be exactly the way that it's supposed to be and cannot adapt at all, because God made it to be that way. But no, I guess, there's a little bit of adaptation, evolution, all that type of stuff. That's fine, I guess, but whatever.
And so we can look at something like that, and the idea is we can detect signs of design there.
That's right.
And as you pointed out, there are other versions of there.
Detect people that are inferring there's design, but that's just because of you guys.
Versions that are based on biology and the complexity of DNA and complexity of life and things like that. All kinds of them. And
complexity doesn't equal design, man. Like, I don't know why they seem to think that, it's too complicated for me to figure out, which is a subjective interpretation of just whatever it is they're looking at. And they go, it's too complicated, therefore must be designed. Okay. Couldn't just possibly be the case that you just don't understand how it works. It's just, no, it's got to be a magic that's driving this sucker,
chemistry, biology, physics, and so on. And so the gist.
Oh my God!
This taco.
Fucking, what is happening?
If I saw it, and I had never seen a taco in my entire life at any point, I could look at it examine it carefully, and realize that it is design. The shell, the meat, the tomatoes, the cheese, the hot sauce.
Okay, I don't even the hot sauce. Okay. Yeah, tacos aren't nature, man. I don't this is weird, but like even like I throw tacos together like half the time. Like half the time the stuff that I put in tacos is just like you put that in a taco. Yeah, because it's I didn't really design it. I'm just sort of like this could go in a fucking shell. Yeah, that could work. Throw that in there. And then this could sprinkle this on top. Why not put some spaghetti in there? I've never, I don't think I've ever had a spaghetti taco. Let's try it. Let's try it. It might be good. It might be, crunchy spaghetti. It could be fun. It could be fun. Let's give it a try. So I don't know. But I mean, yeah, tacos aren't living things, man.
They don't form like this by nature. They have to be put in this formation by a designer. That is teleology.
That's so stupid, man. So as he really is, and I haven't watched beyond, I don't know, the first like 2 minutes. Is he really going to try to use a taco in every single one of the arguments against atheism? Is that really what we're doing here?
Teleology. Hey,
It's like they can't. I don't know what it is about like these fucking apologists where they seem to not be able to use any other example of stuff being designed rather than stuff that people have designed. That's the only thing they can use. Why don't they ever bring up a black hole? A black hole is so obviously designed to suck up light. That's clear, and everything else. And so that's we need that in the unit that was clearly made by a guy, like, because they can't do it. Like they can only do stuff that they see on Earth that they're like that has a purpose and everything. And so that's just like the stuff that I design, that I give purpose to things that I make. It's inferring so much. It's crazy.
Is for axiological. The axiological argument, most common form that we're familiar with is the moral argument, but give us an example of an axiological argument for the existence of God.
That's weird. I don't know as if I've ever heard it called that, axiological, like based on like axioms and stuff. Okay. And then he says that that's the moral argument. Okay. Let's hear it, because I have no idea where they're going to go with this. But first, how's everybody doing? Y'all feeling? You feeling okay? It's Monday. It's it's the day that shall not be mentioned. Actually, James, it's off, dude. James won. So gotta lurk at work today. Yep, I feel you. I do the lurking at working too. A lot. It's almost every day that I'm there. I do some lurking. It's just my vibe. I think I freak people out too. It's not my fault. I can't help it. I just naturally lurk. It's just a thing. I don't know if I know what lurking means now. I'm thinking now. I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I don't even know if I know exactly what that word means. Does anybody have a definition of lurk? Is that something? Is it just walking creepily? Because that's all I've got it going on as far as I can tell so far. Is that what it means? Just like being being creepy. Is that it? No, I don't know. Let's see who was second. Lord Dissonant, what's up, dude? What? Good morning, Simeons. What's up, man? How you doing? Good. I'm great. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it. And then we got Ryan. Is here third. Hey, what's going on, dude? And it's got I can never see it's a goat. Okay, that's cool. Goats are great. Probably the best animal because of those eyes. Those things freak me out, dude. What the fuck? What's wrong with their eyes? Why are their eyes like that? Get normal eyes, goat. You know what I mean? What are you doing? Anyway, look at the trees is here. Punks, what's up? Yep, that is us. That is, yeah, we are punks. That's right. Wolfos is here. What's up, dude? Nice. Yeah, it is nice. Logan, what's up, dude? All right. Spooky, how's it going? So keep David away from the toolbox. If you know, he was fucking toolboxes. That seems like a bad idea. You know what I mean? I don't know if you should be fucking toolboxes. That's of all the things that you could fuck. I'm sure there is a hole, like maybe in the side of it or something that's like relatively sized to his. Well, yeah, but I don't think that should ever be something that you should utilize as far as the size similarities there. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I feel like it's gonna hurt. Just any way you do it. You could use all the lube you fucking want. Doesn't matter. It's a toolbox. It's gonna hurt. What the fuck is with the toolbox? What are you talking about? I don't know. I'm lost here. You're like, David Wooden toolboxes, am I right? No, I've no what? No, I don't know. Like, yeah, you got caught fucking a toolbox once. Oh, that's no good. That's not fun.
So you have one of the traditional formulations today is that if God does not exist, then objective moral values and duties don't exist.
Bingo. Yep, you got it. That's it. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Both those don't exist, so we're done here. Yeah.
But objective moral values and duties do exist, therefore God exists. And the
No, they don't. It's not objective no matter how you fucking swing it, man.
reason being, in a nutshell, is that when you look at the properties of morality, you see
Why do they need it to be objective? I never understand this. Like, why can't they just acknowledge what morality actually is? It's just something that it's like a tool that humans use to determine what is good and what is bad. It's looking at human behavior and determining whether or not that behavior was a good behavior or a bad behavior. How could that possibly be outside of all opinion? It doesn't make any sense, man.
see things that, it's something necessary, universal, transcendent, not dependent on us. And
It literally is depending on us, man. You're getting this so wrong so quick. It's impressive how wrong you are right now.
look at the properties of morality.
Like the fucking religious people can't even decide like what is objectively moral according to their subjective interpretation of what they think their God wants everybody to behave like. They can't even decide what their God wants as far as what everybody. So some people are like, oh no, you have to get baptized, otherwise you can't go to heaven. That's how bad not being baptized is. You go to hell for it. Right. Other people have other things. Right. None of it is consistent along these lines, even if they're pointing to the same fucking holy book. It's so subjective. Like it's more subjective. I think all morality is subjective, but I would say it's more subjective than any kind of atheist or secularist interpretation of morality, because theirs is like based off of something like harm. Does this hurt people or not? And I think just about everybody can agree, no matter what their religious beliefs are, that hurting people is bad, right? And so we can go from there as like the basis of morality, and we could all agree on that basis of morality outside of everybody's independent religious beliefs. So that would make it more objective from an atheist perspective, rather than the religious individual that would be pulling their morality from their subjective interpretation of what they think their God wants everybody to behave like. So it's actually less subjective. And yet that's their argument for like why a God has to exist, which ends up just being a God has to exist because then otherwise I wouldn't like it to believe that like people doing bad things isn't objectively evil. It's still subjectively evil. And I don't like that. Doesn't make me feel good. So God, it's just, I wouldn't like how that would be, how that would feel inside my brain. Therefore, God, that's all it is.
They're intrinsic to persons, not objects. Tables and chairs are not loyal or kind. Persons are. So if morality exists, it must be grounded in something.
I've had some pretty disloyal tables. Okay. And they don't hold stuff up. The legs are just, I got it at a garage sale. So it's kind of on me, and I also hate fixing stuff, and I'll just sit there balancing it, instead, that's like my, that's like me just going against ever fixing it. But, so I'll just balance it and then it just falls. And it's just, it's a temperamental table. And I think it's immoral, to be totally honest.
The necessary personal.
It's going to table hell. That's for sure.
And transcendent, namely something like God.
And so, imagine Eric has a taco.
Dude, please stop with the fucking. And you can tell this is like all his idea because he's the only one like obsessively holding the taco the whole video and shit. Like this is so like poor Eric here just fucking. He was just like, yeah, I guess we can do that. Yeah, I guess that's what I am. Mexican. You're right. That is funny. Just that I'm Mexican and that we eat tacos, I guess. Fuck, Jesus Christ. Why did I agree to this?
And I want that taco. Can I brutally murder him and just take his taco from him?
That's
or would
actually
that...
Pinatas. Yeah. Pandora's Pinatas. And shouldn't you be covering this on a Tuesday? That's a good point. Yeah, I probably, I didn't even think of that. That's I should have waited till tomorrow. It's 4 months old, and so as I could have covered it whenever, right? It's not like it's fucking new, but damn, yeah, it's good call. Shit. All right, well now you messed up the whole video. Thanks for pointing that out.
Be
I'm completely distracted now. The rest of the fucking
objectively wrong. Why would it be wrong to murder Eric Hernandez for that taco? Is it just culture? Could it change from one culture to another? Is it our personal preference? Is it our feelings? Or is it objectively morally wrong?
It's all that. I mean, except it's objectively morally wrong if we construct subjectively a moral standard that that we can get closer or further away from a particular goal, which I would say a goal like doing do no harm, right? Or well-being or something like that. Then you can put it in objective terms, but it's still not really objective, right? Because it's still not outside of all opinion, because that goal would still technically be somebody's opinion, right? And people would still, I think, have different opinions as to like how they get to that goal, right? So it's still, even if we put it in objective terms, it still ends up being subjective, right? Because we're talking about stuff that we're behaviors, and then deciding if it's good or bad. That has to be opinionated. Like it's objectively opinionated, right? That's just based on the definition. Hey Amber, hey, what's up? How you doing, Amber? Amber said, how can God be good without an objective moral standard? That's true. That is true. How can God fit into the goodness thing? And their answer is, well, he is the objective moral standard, even if there is no objective moral standard, because God clearly goes against anything that could be described as a moral standard when he's like ordering shmemicides and flooding the entire planet and ordering people. I didn't realize this. Ordering people to grape other people's wives as punishments for shit that Justin had brought that up on Saturday on the live stream. I was like, I did not remember that fucking part. Holy shit, that was brutal. But yeah, God orders people to grape women at one point as a punishment to somebody else. That's and not the women, by the way, not a punishment to the women. No, it was the punishment to the man who was married to those women. That's not good. So pretty much against any fucking possible moral standard, objectively. That's right. Jesus, yeah, that's a good point though.
It's objectively morally wrong, then there is some sort of lawgiver who makes that a rule. And who is that?
You'd have to demonstrate that. It's almost like they're starting from their conclusion or something. Yeah, it's like they're starting from their conclusion and going, there's an ultra moral lawgiver, and that is God. And then the reason that we know that God exists is because there has to be a moral lawgiver. Shit, but that was your conclusion that you started with in order. Anyway, you know what? It's sort of circular. But let's see what we got here. Spooky said, David famously tells a story of attacking his dad with a hammer while his dad slept. Wow. Oh, so he's just straight fucking sociopathic, dude. That's okay. That, this makes a lot more sense. Just his whole demeanor, just in general. Jesus, that's fucking terrifying. What the hell is wrong? Don't piss this guy out. I mean, don't debate this guy. Like whoever the dude is that he's going to debate at this debate con. Don't, dude. He's gonna get mad and attack you with a wood chipper or some shit, man. Be careful. You're gonna end up Fargoed. Okay.
C is for cosmological. What would a cosmological argument for God's existence look like? And again,
oh boy, yeah, I never heard this one. This is going to be a brand new argument that we've not heard.
This is another argument where there are multiple forms of it over the centuries. Give us one.
So again, using Craig, everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause. Now to unpack the profundity of
Gotcha. Yeah, Ember said to measure him against when you're talking about that's awesome. 9 months. Thank you so much, Ember. That's awesome. I really appreciate you being here. I said, how can a God be good without an objective standard? to measure him against, right? Because it's got to be something. If it's objective, it's outside of God's opinion as well. Just because he created the people that he thinks should abide by this standard doesn't mean that he's outside of the standard. And just because he created the standard doesn't mean that it's objective. It's just everybody appealing to his subjective interpretation of what he thinks the objective standard should be. So, yeah, not objective. That's the way it goes, you know.
The argument. In philosophy, causes are logically prior to, external to, and greater than their effects. So the person that caused this phone to exist or the camera to exist doesn't exist inside of it. Doesn't exist inside of the phone. And so if time, space, and matter had a beginning, you're going to need something transcendent to time, space, and matter.
Okay, that part is just that. So they're adding the, like, everything has to have a cause. Okay. But they're saying that everything that causes other stuff has to be greater than it, whereas I don't necessarily see that as something like that would need to be demonstrated. Like you're saying that always anything that causes anything has to be greater than it, which I don't know. That just, to me, that doesn't make sense. I feel like you could have a bunch of little things cause a big thing. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't be that the greater things, or the things that cause that thing, had to be greater. I don't know. But yeah, that seems to be just full of assumptions out the gate, but whatever.
So something that would have been timeless, spaceless, and material, something unimaginably powerful, transcendent, and personal, to have the decision to create something out of nothing. And thus, once again, you have something like God.
So,
What?
this taco.
Nuh-uh, really? Oh, hey, Nitty, how we doing? I still got to get with you. I'm sorry. I will be hitting you up today because I keep forgetting. Too much stuff going on lately. Nitty said, odd thing about violent testimony, nobody's able to find his criminal record on it, which with the degree of offense, it would be permanent and unsealed. Oh my God. So he's just a fucking liar is really what's happening here. He's a liar. Yeah, because you don't get away. You can't attack somebody with a hammer while they're asleep. And then I don't care if it's your dad or not, because your dad could be like, "Oh no, I'm not going to press charges there," you know. But if it doesn't matter if you went to prison for it, though, then that means that the state pressed charges outside of whether or not his dad wanted to not press charges, and that means that it should be public record. So he's just full of shit. He's just fucking lying, man. Why do they have to lie so much? I don't understand it. Why can't y'all just be honest about your mad? Because all that does is just demonstrate to everybody how y'all are willing to be dishonest just to get people to agree with you, just to get people to be, you know, in your in group that you're trying to get everybody into, right? And to view you as some kind of leader, figurehead, or whatever of that in group, right? And so you literally lie to do that. Like, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, do atheists lie about stuff like that? I don't, you know what I mean? I feel like we don't ever need to lie and deceive people to get them to be atheists. You know what I mean? Like, we never do that. We'll just like try to reason with people a lot and point to actually true things and go, look at the actually true things about. We're not doing magic tricks and stuff and making somebody's leg appear to be growing back to the right size, you know, because the knee's too short or whatever, and so they're growing the knee. But like, there's no atheist going, see, look, I magically healed that knee. Now, don't you want to be an atheist now? Okay, because if you come over here and believe my stuff, we fucking heal people. Even though I guess with science we kind of actually heal people, although, you know, science is kind of independent from anyway. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean, you know. But yeah, that's crazy. They're just fucking. A Christian apologist lying? Inconceivable. Yeah, that's Jesus. Lord Dissonant said the cosmological argument is nothing new. No, it's not. It's real. I think it's probably, you know, as soon as those monkey people on that developed to be monkey people on planet Earth ate those mushrooms, right, and then got their consciousness from the mushrooms that they ate. When they're, you know, anthropologically speaking, when the first thing they had is like, where did all this shit come from? Seems like everything comes from something. There must be a magical being like me, a magical monkey man in the sky that is making stuff, right? And that's what caused that was the first fucking argument that came about, you know, when those hallucinogenic mushrooms caused humans to have consciousness. I'm dying on this hill. Okay, don't you give me the fucking scholarship correction as to where consciousness came from. Okay, Dan Dennett can go suck it. Never mind. I'm just it came from mushrooms. I'm dying on that hill. I don't care.
Had a beginning. I'm going to give a quick series of disjunctive syllogisms, ladies and gentlemen. Either this taco had a beginning,
Your fucking face is a disjunctive syllogism.
or it has existed.
And if you want to syllogize on some stuff, go to adamandeve.com. That was a good one. Okay, whatever. That was funny. All right, that's perfect. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. You can syllogize all over everything you want, and have the toys to make it fun and easy and convenient, really. But they I don't know if they have any toys specifically for cleaning up after the syllogism, but that it's maybe they do. I haven't looked that thoroughly for like the wipes and stuff. I feel like you just like get a downy or something, probably. Anyway, go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout, and check out their catalog there. They got just about everything. They got everything from lubes and sexy lingerie to vibrators. They got just butt play. They got everything. They got all the good stuff. BDSM, like restraints and stuff. It's just awesome. Everything you could think of. And if you go right now, they have some Valentine's Day deals that you can get in on if you use the code. So go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley, and get your butt some stuff. All right.
Forever. It hasn't existed forever. Therefore, this taco had a beginning. Since it had a beginning, we have another disjunctive syllogism. Either this taco began to exist as a result of some cause, or it began to exist uncaused.
Yeah, no, we get it. We get the, wow, Jesus Christ, taking the longest fucking way to say this one. I feel like you could just be like, everything has to have a cause, including this taco. Moving on. All right, next argument.
It's absurd to say that it began to exist uncaused. Therefore, this taco had a cause.
Yep, no God in that argument, man. Just so you know, all you get to is a cause, and most of us would fucking agree with you. Yeah, things caused other things. Got it. Okay, where's a God in this? Because you can have stuff cause stuff that aren't gods, and that's exactly what science is showing. And every single time we've investigated anything that causes anything, it's never ever been a fucking God. So no, just no.
As Eric did, you can expand upon the sort of cause that would account for this taco. And as we've seen, you can do that with the entire.
I know. They're making me hungry now. I'm like, I'm gonna have to stop at Taco Bell on the way to work. It's thanks, man, with your
universe. O is for ontological. Lots of different ontological arguments, famously by people like
Dude, he does not seem thrilled with this. I just can't get it. Like, David Wood's having the fucking time of his life doing the Mexican stereotype apologetics thing with his Mexican prop buddy here. But he does not seem thrilled. I feel like he's rethinking coming on this show just over and over again right now.
Selm, Planiga has offered ontological arguments, but give us an example of an ontological argument for the existence of God.
Yeah, to simplify, because it can get a little complicated, but essentially, the entire argument hinges on the premise if it.
Okay, hold on. We'll get to his premise in a second. Ember said, "Yep, things can only have one big single cause. Taco. One guy made the cow, the tomatoes, the tortilla, etc., and also assembled the parts. One very magic taco maker. #logic. Yeah, because everything. That's a great point, because it wasn't like there's like a taco god that like had to bring tacos into existence through the tacos. The god of the tacos. It's like an extra character on that Aqua Teen Hunger Force or something. Was there a taco character in that show? No, no fries. Okay, shake, and a meat wad. That's I don't know why there was a meat wad. He kind of feels like he didn't really fit. That's not even a fast food item or anyway. No, there's no taco on the show. But yeah, exactly. That's doesn't make sense. All the different parts came from all these other different places, and then anyway, not even going to get into it. But like, it didn't need a taco god to come into existence.
It's possible that a maximal great being exists. So in philosophical phrenology, if I say,
oh no, we're really doing this ontological. Oh God, this is right here, and I think it's like probably the dumbest of like the quote unquote logically valid arguments. That is just absurd. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if the premises don't make sense or if the premises aren't true, then it doesn't matter. So, it can be as valid as it is and still be incorrect if the premises aren't true. So, and that's what this is, because you're just like, oh, there's got to be a maximally great being, right? And we have a concept of a maximally great being, right? And so what would be better than a concept? Well, the actual being, of course. So that means that the being, and it would something to do with like multiple dimensions or something, or like realities, like anyway. But so they're just defining this thing into existence just from the concept of a maximally great being has to exist, whatever.
It is possible a maximal great being exists. I'm essentially saying that there is a possible world in which there is this thing we call a maximal great being. But once you allow that, then by definition, a maximal great being is going to exist necessarily in every possible world, including the actual world. So if it's possible.
Imagine explaining this to somebody and being like, this is why you got to believe in God. Check this, okay? Because necessarily in any possible world, if you have a maximally great being, the maximally great being would have to exist in all the worlds. Therefore, it exists in this world. Like, they'd be like, are you fucking dumb, man? Are you insane? That's not convincing at all. What?
A maximal great being exists, then necessarily a maximal great being exists in the actual world.
If it's possible, then a maximally great being, if it's possible that a maximally great being exists, that means a maximally great being exists in a possible world, and a maximally great being that exists in a possible world would exist in all worlds.
You got to just know you're wrong at this point, right? Like the way that you're saying, you're like, yeah, that's stupid. That just doesn't make, no, that's not how reality works. Okay. Like I could just talk long enough until it's, that my thing just has to exist. No, that's not so silly, man.
Or it wouldn't be maximally great. That's right. So imagine.
So categorically, based on your characteristics that you prescribed to the thing, make it so that it has to exist. Are you fucking kidding me, man?
A maximally great taco. These are the sorts of.
I thought that was what destroys the argument, is if you just bring up something like a maximally great taco. So therefore, there has to be a maximally great taco in existence, because anyway, that's what makes it silly, because if you use it, if you swap out anything else, it makes it silly.
Objections that atheists raise to the ontological argument.
Okay, I didn't let him finish that. So my bad. Okay, he is mentioning the response. Okay.
For God, because they don't understand the argument. So they would say something like, imagine a maximally perfect island or a maximally perfect taco. Guess what? Yeah. You actually don't have a concept of a maximally great taco. There is no possible world in which a maximally great taco exists.
Right. Yeah. And so that means that it doesn't work with God's either.
Why? Because the properties that make a taco great aren't the sort of thing that you can just dial up to some level of perfection. Like how much meat would there be in a maximally great taco?
A maximally great amount. Like, why is this difficult? I don't know what you want.
You could say infinity, but then it's not a perfect taco. How's anyone going to eat?
No, I didn't say infinity. I said maximally great amount. Okay, you just because you don't see. Look, maximally great things work in mysterious ways. All right, and it's outside of your understanding what makes it maximally great, why it's maximally great. So you trying to understand it, just doesn't. You just should just stop. Okay. It's the taco knows better than you do, buddy.
A taco with infinite meat in it or infinite lettuce or infinite cheese. It doesn't work. So it wouldn't fit in a hand, which is part of what makes a taco great.
It's a maximally great taco. It's the perfect amount of everything, man. Come on. Use your head, David Wood. So stupid. Oh, God. Yeah, Drusilla. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm kind of on a kick here lately. I don't, he just cracks me up. I don't know. He's so angry, except that when he tries not, and then he tries to be funny, but he still just sounds like he's angry while he's trying to be funny. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird and racist, but like, it's, whatever. That's what.
So you can imagine a great taco. You cannot imagine a maximally great taco. We have no reason to think that something like that could possibly exist. And so the characteristics of something like this are different from the characteristics that are involved in our concept of God, where you can have maximally great goodness.
Why? Like, what? You're just saying that. Like, you can't, like, we could conceive of a maximally great taco and say that all the ingredients are perfect ingredients and a perfect amounts of ingredients and everything like that. And the whole idea is to say that if that exists in all possible universes, then it has to exist in in the true universe. And it just shows that this is a silly argument that doesn't actually have any tie to reality. It's just like a fucking just defining a god into existence through just word games, and logic games and stuff.
Maximally great power, maximally great knowledge. These are the characteristics of a maximally great being. And so we can say a maximally great being is.
See, this was Sean was on top of it before we got there. Except you went with pizza. He's on a Mexican stereotype kick, and that's why they went with taco. But John said, "Hey, cameras, I have a maximally great pizza that never ends. It's always fresh and must exist in all possible worlds. Therefore, it has to exist in this world because this is, if it exists in all possible worlds, well, this universe is obviously possible because it's the real one. So it's, God damn, it's so stupid. Like, I could never imagine somebody sitting there trying to convince somebody using that argument. You know what I mean? Like, they would just look at you like, oh, so you just want to decide that you believe a thing is true. Like, you can just decide that you believe, just say you gotta have faith, just say you just gotta have it. That's a better argument than going through whatever the fuck this shit is,
possible. And if it's possible in some world,
Deep State, what's up? How's it going?
Maximally great being exists in all worlds, including ours. So whenever you see a taco from now on, remember the taco approach. T,
teleological.
A,
axiological.
C,
cosmological.
O,
ontological. Dude, this is the most fucking degrading goddamn video I think I've seen. Like, Eric Hernandez is actually like a pretty big YouTuber. Why would he fucking agree to this? I'm confused. Like, why would he do this to himself? Like, he spoke like 1/10 of the video. The video is supposed to be advertising his book, right? And because it was like the lazy man's approach to evangelicalism, like David Wood just couldn't not see the goddamn stereotype in that, even though it's not the stereotype. It'd be the opposite of the stereotype, even according to him. And so he thinks a good idea would be to just make a fucking YouTube video of all the stereotypes he can think of, because the title of the book was not a stereotype. It's fucking insane, man. What an asshole. Wow.
That is the taco approach. Every time you see a taco, every time you're eating a taco with someone, use this as an opportunity to.
This is conservative white people, folks. This is who they are. They are obsessed with other cultures and stereotypes about them, and thinks it's funny and tries to get people to play along with their little fucking games that they play about it.
Share these arguments, and if you want more, be sure to grab the extremely racist stereotypical, lazy approach to evangelism, but
Except that it's not, man. It's literally the opposite of the stereotype. Like, you're fucking so dumb.
by our Mexican friend, Eric
Jesus.
Hernandez.
God, he's upset. This is so fucking weird, man. So oh, there's a comedy bit. Oh, he can't let the taco go by. He's got to take a bite of the taco. Oh my God. Oh, that was painful. That was painful. I feel like I'm somehow a degree more racist now for having watched that. My God. Yeah, not good. Not good. Yeah, I also found this one. Let's see.
Help you so
Okay, so this is, well, the video is called
wisdom.
Right. The video is called "Wow, Does Science Prove That Sin Destroys the Brain?" No. I'm just gonna go ahead and answer. No, it doesn't. It's not. No, that's not how science works, man. And just, God damn it, how fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Let me take a look at some comments though before we get going. Deep State said, I'm going to check before we leave whether or not someone will let us stay with them. We can't afford to keep bleeding money on a hotel room. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Hey, and I'm pretty sure Deep State, you have do you have a Patreon or something like that we can put up? Maybe Antier can like put a donation site for you, and then we can contact me and let me know what we can do if we can put that out for you. And I'll put it in the description, because that would be great if we could at least give you something, you know. That sucks. I've been there. It's not fun. It's not fun not knowing where you're gonna sleep that night. But sorry about that, Deep State. That sucks. And John was saying, at least faith understands that you are subjectively deciding which attributes you believe in, rather than terminating an absurdity, like the maximally being argument. What is it? Terminating an absurdity. Yeah, it's really which attributes. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Because you're the one determining the characteristics of the thing. Yeah, it's just defining God into existence. It's a really silly argument. I'm surprised that it's even one that still comes up that people talk about, because I feel like it's one of those arguments that even as a Christian is saying it, they have to hear, they're like, oh, I just want to believe in a God, because this doesn't actually lead to anybody believing that. You know, this is just kind of like me trying to confirm to myself what I'd already what I'm already gonna think, and then think that it somehow answers. I don't know. It just feels like they're just confirming what they'd already like to believe to themselves, because there's no way that would convince anybody.
Design your brain to reward you when you choose not to sin and you choose to walk in righteousness. This is the point that this young man is making in this video that's going viral all over the internet. And I'm going to play the clip for you of what his claim is. And then I'm going to break down for you my thoughts on this with some scripture that ties it all together and ultimately is the ultimate authority of the discussion we're having here right now. So
let me guess, this is going to be like that dopamine nation thing. Is it going to be like the dopamine? There's a book, if I'm not mistaken, called Dopamine Nation. And the whole idea is that you got to go on dopamine fasts, right? I don't know how much of like the fucking like manosphere and shit love this concept, right? I don't know if it's been validated by like actual science and shit, but the idea is that like you get too used to dopamine hits, and like that's kind of like a thing that addicts do and stuff. It's like they get used to like constant dopamine hits, right? And so that makes that part of the brain weaker or whatever, because it's constantly shooting out dopamine, which actually makes your brain like overproduce dopamine, and then it makes the dopamine hits that you get not that great, right? And it's kind of like the concept of just when you first get a toy, you know, you enjoy it or whatever, and then like you don't enjoy that toy after a bit. It's just a thing that you do, whatever. It's not a big deal anymore, right? And it's like your brain does kind of the same thing when it comes to like dopamine, and you'll end up just I don't know. It kind of messes with your brain's chemistry or whatever if you're expecting constant dopamine hits when you're not. So the idea is if you fast between dopamine hits, then those dopamine hits will be that much stronger. Now, the reason why people like Jordan Peterson and folks like that love this is because one of the methods that church and religion uses is to monopolize your dopamine hits, right? Which is why they don't want you to enjoy secular movies. They don't want you to enjoy secular music. They don't want you to enjoy drugs, alcohol, like time with, friends that aren't Christians, stuff like that. Like they want to monopolize your dopamine hits so that when you get a dopamine hit, like you like deny yourself so often, right? Usually through like shame and guilt, they also make it so that which you can't get as much of a dopamine hit if you're enjoying something that you feel bad about enjoying. So it kind of like makes it so that the dopamine hit's not as much. And then when you go to church, oh, that's a huge dopamine hit because not only are you getting a dopamine hit from the music and all of that stuff, but you're also doing what you're allowed to do, and you're actually allowed to enjoy this dopamine hit without any shame or guilt, right? So that's like part of like what religion does to fucking brainwash people. That's part of the brainwashing process, right? Is getting you to only feel like you can get your happy juices from church and nowhere else. But anyway.
Without further ado, let's listen to what he has to say and let's see if I agree with it.
A Holy Spirit revelation that I was given like 8 months ago. It is going to blow your guys' brains up. It's about the brain. It's about sin and how it affects us and why God designed us the way he did. I'm telling you, this is going to be such useful information for you guys. It's going to help you so much with your sin. There's this part of the brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, and I learned this from...
Hold on, we'll get back to that. Thanks, John. John said, man, my typing is garbage this morning. You're great at translating, Brad. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've gotten better at it because I know how bad I am at typing. So I'm just like, what would I mess up? And so it's cool. It's helpful to mess up all the time, and then kind of just know how it works. I know from experience, my friend. No, but thank you. I appreciate that. Skeptically Pissed. What's up, dude? You made it. What's up? Hell yeah. And Kari, what's going on? What up? All right.
From an Andrew Huberman podcast. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex
Okay, let's go back.
Information for you guys. It's going to help you so much with your sin. There's this part of the brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, and I learned this from an Andrew Huberman podcast.
I'm so glad because I really need help with my sin. I want to make it the best sinning I can possibly do. So if we could amp this shit up somehow, I'd love it. So it's just, I'm all ears, buddies. That's really what I'm saying here.
The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is responsible for every human's will to live. How does it work? When you do things that you do not like to do, let's say you hate running, but you run anyways, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex grows in size, which then increases your will to live. It also works in the reverse way. So if you keep doing things that please you, that you want to do, your anterior mid-cingulate cortex shrinks in size and then decreases your will to live. It's seen in a lot of obese patients. They typically have a small anterior mid-cingulate cortex because they keep doing things that they want to do. They keep pleasing themselves with food and they keep not exercising because they don't like to exercise. Anyways, that's just an example. Let's keep going.
Okay, so that's an interesting way to do this. Now, keep in mind, when we're talking about a lot of this stuff, there's parts of your brain, and see, they're kind of getting into like just the neuroscience of this sort of thing, but like there's a lot of psychology that goes into this as well. And a big part of like why people are obese and things like that is, and other addictive behaviors, just about all addictive behaviors come from toxic shame, right? And toxic shame causes you to believe that you are not worthy as a being. You aren't worthy to be deserving of having a healthy body and a happy life and stuff like that. And so you subconsciously like mess up your life or just keep going towards things that just feel sort of good in that moment, but don't actually make you feel like you're accomplishing anything in life because you think you don't actually deserve to accomplish anything in life. And you've kind of already just set the pace going, if I did try to succeed in life at all, I would fail anyway because I'm a broken piece of garbage. So it doesn't matter. I might as well just get my dopamine hits over here. And so that whole psychology thing plays into this a lot, right? Because you kind of need that belief in yourself to be able to get yourself to do the things that are difficult to allow you to be healthy. And it's like this almost feels like a correlation, not causation kind of situation here, because he's acting like doing this stuff is what makes you grow your will to live, when it almost seems like your will to live would cause those other things to happen, right? Like your will to live would allow you to behave in ways that are healthy and stuff, because you have that will to live, and that causes the other thing. Now, once you do the other thing, and it makes you feel better, and you're actually getting healthier and stuff, and you're succeeding in making your life more successful and stuff, well, then that obviously would increase your will to live. So I feel like he's got this backwards, but I'm not a fucking neuroscience guy or whatever. I just find psychology really interesting, and have kind of been on a kick lately, learning a lot about toxic shame and how it leads to like addictive behaviors and stuff like that. And a lot of it just stems from this emotional state that you got when you're a kid, believing that your emotions are bad, and that your emotions make you bad, and so you believe that you are bad, and so that kind of, you grow up with that belief, and then you end up with a lot of addictive behaviors and stuff like that. Anyway.
All right, so he's going to dive into a little bit more, but
it's so funny. We were just talking.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not a neuroscientist, so
no shit, man. You're you're like somehow anti-science. Like, you know, I get to say this, not you, okay, buddy? All right, because I'm at least reading actual fucking scientists that say stuff. You're just like, I'm not a scientist, okay? No, you're fucking literally anti-science, man. Not you, Apostate sister. I'm sorry. I pulled it up on there, and then I started ranting at this guy. You got to stop doing that. I don't know. People, is he talking about me? I'm not anti-science. We're a very pro-science channel. The Apostate. I don't know, why is he saying that? No, but yeah, we were just talking about this. I was talking about this with the Apostate sisters on their show. So yeah, it's cool. It's too funny. You came in right at the right time. That's wow. It's, you know, it must be God. That's what it was. That the timing. There's no such thing as coincidences. Okay, it's God. God did that. So or Nil, the creator of creator gods. But yeah, no. Yeah. Okay. What's up, dude?
Oh, you better believe I went to ChatGPT to see if this is really true. I literally took the transcription of the.
Please don't ask fucking chatbots, man. Why don't you go to Google, dude? Chatbots make up shit at times, dude. Like, go to an actual, just put in scholarship and then just type in some of the fucking things they said. This is so not difficult, man. But it's like, you can sit there and do. Here's the thing about like ChatGPT and shit. You can put stuff in there until you get the results that you want, you know? And so it's like, because it will eventually just make shit up, right? And there's a lot of bullshit in the internet that it can pull information from. You got to put into Google scholarship. Like, you got to go Google Scholar, or like put scholarship or consensus of scholarship or peer reviewed or something that makes it official, you know?
The video up until this point where he's talking about this part of your brain. Like, literally, if you're doing things that are hard for you, the claim is that this part of your brain actually grows, and this part of your brain is associated with your will to live. But if you're doing things that you're just like feeding your own personal desires, etc., that part actually decreases, and it decreases your will to live. This is what ChatGPT says. I know ChatGPT doesn't have a PhD.
Then why the fuck do you use it, man? There are people that do have PhDs that upload shit, and there's a perfect search engine that you can actually look this stuff up in if you're not just trying to find what you want to find. My God.
At the same time, probably way smarter than you and me from an information standpoint. So this is what it says.
What's way smarter? What a weird way to talk about ChatGPT. It's smarter than your dumbass, okay? Can you pull from all sorts of information all throughout the internet in a single second? Didn't think so, because you're stupider than ChatGPT.
Partially true. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex, the AMCC, is involved in functions like motivation, emotional regulation, cognitive control, decision-making, and processing pain or discomfort, both physical and emotional. It's activated when you face challenges, discomfort, or situations that require effort, which ties into resilience and self-control. Here's what's not accurate. Will to live is not controlled by one brain area. The will to live is a complex phenomenon influenced.
Okay, well, I got to say, I'm kind of a little relieved that at least he didn't just pick the thing that was like that had his weird Christian bias, because I guarantee there's a lot of fucking bullshit out there that this thing could have pulled information from on the internet. But because that's the thing, yeah, will to live. That's such a, first of all, that's just a weird, vague term that, you know, and they're like, where's the will to live? Live in the brain. Like, where's the will to live section? Like, is it right over here? Like, that's not how it fucking works. You know, it's a complex thing that usually has more to do with your experiences in life and things that you believe about yourself and shit like that, like your emotions and things like that, you know, drive that type of shit. Your emotions, your thoughts that lead to your emotions that lead to your behavior. That's more what determines shit like will to live. But
by many brain regions, not just the AMCC. It involves the limbic system, prefrontal cortex, brainstem, and neurotransmitter systems like dopamine and serotonin. So there's a lot there.
Like, right? I said prefrontal cortex. Like, that's it. That was good. That was good. I said that myself on my Christian channel. That's right. We talk about brains around here. That's it's the neuroscience Christian channel.
Right. And then it's going to go into like sinful behavior doesn't directly link to this. And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, because sinful behavior is subjective, man. It's like whatever you subjectively think your God doesn't want people to behave like in order for them to go to your version of heaven or whatever. That's not a thing that actually exists, right? In any kind of scientific term, right? So it's silly to even try to bridge this gap. It's so fucking, it just shows how little you actually understand it, or that guy understands it, because at least it sounds like he's at least somewhat skeptical of what that dude was saying. So I mean, that's, you know, credit where credit's fucking due, which I can't usually give this guy any credit.
That shortly, but ChatGPT, we're going to put you aside. We're going to go straight to the source.
Oh, good. I don't know why you didn't start with that.
Of who made this claim. Andrew Huberman, he's got one of the biggest podcasts on the planet, neuroscientist. But listen to how he explains it. How he explains this.
Yeah, see, and this dude, this is what I was talking about. Like, and I'm pretty sure this is the guy that does, or he's one of the people, I should say, that does the Dopamine Nation concept, to which he's inferring a lot of psychology, I think, and using neuroscience to like bolster his claims about like self-denial and things like that. Because of course their conservative shit is all about like it's okay that you need to suffer, you know, you should like deny yourself everything all the time. If you're poor, you need to go to work, go home, stare at the fucking wall and do nothing until it's time to go back to work again. You know, if you spend money on TV and Netflix and chips, are you kidding? No. You go home, you do push-ups while you're waiting to go to work. That's what you do. You do push-ups until it's time to go to sleep, and then you go to work. That's all you get to do, okay? Because you're poor, you deserve it, all right? You don't deserve to enjoy life at all. It's so stupid, like, but that's just the way they think, because they want to get poor people to be okay with not advocating for their own well-being.
Is very interesting, because I think it gives more credit to what the young man was saying before than ChatGPT says. Listen to how he breaks it down.
I like the Cookie Monster. That's pretty good, you know. I have a Cookie Monster in my brain, I'll tell you what, and it's humans, and then said it was a mouse study. So, is that what I just heard? In humans, we used mice to figure this out, but mice are humans. So mice do have similar brain chemistry as humans or whatever, but it was just weird that he said it that way. So, but just, you know, that's why we or scientists use mice a lot, because they have a similar brain structure and chemistry.
Live a very long time.
Okay, so yeah, it's the idea. So in people that live a very long time, but again, like this again, I feel like could easily be a correlation and causation thing. I feel like if you have the right psychological beliefs about yourself and emotional states and things like that, where you weren't like traumatized like and shit, or you like were able to have your trauma sort of like worked through at a young age or things like that, like you would be able to develop this part of your brain. But like they're basically just saying that like when you do this type of stuff, when you overcome difficult things and stuff, like a part of your brain grows. That's it. That's all we got here. And then he's like, and the people that do that like live longer and stuff. But it sounds like it's like he said, it's a lot of athletes and stuff like that do, you know, a lot of physical shit. So that would make perfect sense that it would be they would live longer. It just a lot of this feels like a lot of correlation, not causation. I'd have to see like I'd have to like talk to somebody that actually understands the data and get them to be able to demonstrate that this isn't like a null hypothesis or something. Like they actually are able to pull the data out of what could just be random data or data that's correlating to other things and stuff like that. Like you need to be able to demonstrate that is, and it's hard with brain stuff. It's hard with psychology stuff because it's a lot more data that you got to be able to pull from. But that's why we have things like the null hypothesis to be able to go, look, this could be just random data. That's the null hypothesis. It's like this, it's trying to distinguish random data from an actual pattern, right? Because it's sometimes random data to us looks like a pattern, right? So we have to be able to distinguish a random pattern that looks like a pattern to us from the null hypothesis, which is that just random data that can sometimes look like a pattern. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, please. Yeah, like and subscribe if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it. Anything we can do there, it would be great because it helps it. It really does help get it out there. Thank you.
Right.
But
okay.
And when I learned about the
okay, so he's going into the depths of this guy. I mean, this dude studies this stuff. This is his expertise, and he's breaking down how scientists. There's still more data to try to be understood about it. They're saying
and he's a neuroscientist, right? So he understands specifically the stuff of how the brain works. I don't know if he understands the psychology around it, right? And shit like that, because they're both brain stuff, but they're two very different brain things studied. You know what I mean? So, and I have a hard time trusting the people that are like this, that they tend to just be on a lot of podcasts and stuff and sort of end up just saying stuff that these like manosphere dudes that like he was like one of the ones that said like don't masturbate, like masturbating is bad for your brain and stuff, which there's no data to demonstrate that, as far as I understand. But like it's and so and other like self-deprecation or is it deprecation? Yeah, just like denying yourself pleasure or whatever, like that shit like that.
It's not even just a seat at the table for willpower, but it is the seat for the will to live. That's what these other scientists are saying. So it's interesting.
So it's a chair. It's a brain chair for where your will to live sits down. Okay. It clearly it holds up the weight and keeps the will to live comfortable. So it's it's where it sits.
Anybody that wants to say like, hey, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he's coming from this source, and
this kid. First of all, you don't get to call him a kid. Oh, the other kid. Okay, I'm sorry. Never mind.
And the information there.
I'm like, I thought he was talking about him. I was like, you're a kid in comparison to this dude. What are you talking?
To line up pretty well. So let's listen to his parallel though with what this means for you. And whether or not you're living a life of sin or righteousness.
This is where the Holy Spirit came in.
Yeah. Because, and you're absolutely right. Drusilla said, didn't hear him say anything about sin. Because again, and this is one of those things where he's just sort of going to blanketly say that any kind of pleasure is a sin, right? Any kind of self-gratification is a sin. Because again, what I was describing about like how religion tries to monopolize dopamine hits so that you are drawn back almost like an addiction to church so that you can get your dopamine hits there and not feel shameful about them. That's what they want. They want you to feel shameful about any dopamine hits that you get in anywhere else in life. That's sin, right? Feel bad about it. Feel guilty. Then come here and we'll cure that guilt that we caused, by the way, and then we'll give you dopamine hits of your own that you're allowed to like and actually believe are good or whatever. So it plays right into the manipulation, the religious manipulation of this shit, and it's like why brainwashing is so fucking. But it's like so prevalent when it comes to religion. It's like people, and it's like brainwashing is. And I use that word a lot, but I heard that phrase or whatever. But I think it is important because it's not like it's this absolute thing, right? Like there are degrees of brainwashing. You know what I mean? And you can't deny that religion utilizes it, and people are kind of brainwashed. And then it gets to a point where you're just like, oh no, they're not kind of brainwashed, they're fucking brainwashed, dude. Like that's a brainwashed person, but it's a matter of degree, you know. But this is the type of shit that leads to that nth degree, you know.
That same exact thinking to sin. This is why God says the wages of sin is death. At least one reason. There's a plethora, but sin is tempting. That's why it's called temptation.
But isn't it like talking about spiritual death? the what is it, like the, you know, dying, whatever, like going to hell or whatever. That's like the death they're talking about. They're not talking about physical death. Everybody physically dies, dude.
Humans have this weird fascination with evil. In everybody's flesh, it wants to sin. When you withhold from that sin, you are doing something that you do not want to do, because we all initially want to sin. This means that when you withhold from sin, your anterior mid-cingulate cortex grows in size, which then increases your will to live. Also works in the reverse way. If you indulge in sin, your anterior mid-cingulate cortex shrinks in size, which decreases your will to live. It makes perfect sense. Think about it. Satan, he doesn't really care if you sin, because he knows.
It just, to me, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I just feel like this is just something that you would get out of people that would already have that will to live, and then that will. I don't. How do you measure will to liveness? That's one thing I want to, like, a willness to live, or whatever, or a willingness to live. Like, what is that? How the fuck do you measure that? What does that look like? You know? And they're like, what do you want to live even more now that you've done the hard thing? I actually do want to live even more now that I've done the hard thing. Like, it's just, I don't know. Okay, writing that down. He doubled his willingness to keep on staying alive. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand.
Knows that you can go to Christ for repentance. Satan wants you to fall into despair via sin. He wants you to off yourself like he did to Judas.
Yeah. See, I feel like he's saying that fat people lack discipline and are therefore sinning by being overweight. Yeah, that's basically exactly what he's saying. He's not, and saying that, like, them giving into their sin is what caused them to have their will to live stifled or whatever, when that's he's got it backwards, dude. Like, that is the response. Like, overeating and stuff like that, and like relying on food as a coping mechanism is something that you obtain through trauma and shit, and not having your caretakers like treat you like you deserve to feel the way that you feel. That's like a big part of it when you're growing up. So they turn to things like food and stuff and other addictions to kind of fix that brokenness of them that they believe that they are, because they didn't get that compassion from their caretakers when they're growing up. As far as I understand, according to like the psychology that, you know, is talking about this sort of thing, especially when it comes to like addictive behaviors and stuff. It's just they've got it backwards. They're looking at the result and then saying that the result is the cause, and that's just not. They got it backwards. It's a causal. They got it reversed.
Because Judas didn't go to Christ for repentance. When we indulge in sin like that, our will to exist decreases. It's like God put this thing in our brain that rewards us when we abide and obey him.
What about, okay, because like, what about things where like people will be extra healthy so that they can sin, right? So like there are people that go, and this is a lot of people actually, the people that want to work out and be the dude, bro, at the gym with the big old chest, man, and just huge, just got these arms that are cannons, bro. Like, you know, and get all like that so that they can fuck as many women as they want, you know. That's like why they're doing that, right? They're denying themselves. I mean, but it's not even really denying yourself though, because like working out feels good. There's literally a high associated with it. So I don't know. It's like a different kind of high, but it's still a high none the fucking less. And people will use that, like, you know, denying themselves or like beating their body so that they can get stronger. So that they can go sin more. So it just doesn't. This just fails on every fucking, just every way you swing it. It just doesn't make sense, you know, as far as I can tell anyway.
If that's not evidence for a loving God that designed us a specific way, I don't know what is. That's like the holy grail of evidence. Anyways, I hope you guys...
What? Are you serious? That's the holy grail of evidence for a God designing you? Come on, man. Like, how is it not evidence for like survival of the fittest. Like I just feel like that's the obvious conclusion is survival of the fittest, because like you gotta, if survival is everything, then a will to live would be tied into that, right? And so the environmental pressures change, and so the organism changes in order to survive, and be the fittest. No God necessary, man. That's just how organisms work on planet Earth.
Love this. Repent, believe the Gospels. I love.
Repent, baby. Why? Because repentance is about following Jesus. It's about turning from the wide path, which leads to destruction, and choosing to put your faith in Him. And He's got a good plan for you. This is where it gets really interesting with the Bible. Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was hoping that we somehow get from that to the Bible. That's perfect. All right, go.
So, to his credit, he's not going out there and saying that there's scientific.
If this perfect God, sorry, I got to interrupt one more time. If this perfect fucking God wanted people to live so badly, why didn't it tell us about shit like, hey, like mold will like make it so you can get better? Like that's such an easy one to figure, like to give humans. Be like, hey, guys, mold. If you get an infection, fucking mold, man, it grows right on bread and shit. You can just and it'll knock that infection right out of there. Like if his whole thing was he wanted us to live so badly, why didn't he just tell us about shit like that? Like why was it that a fucking scientist had to discover it by accident? Something that has been like super helpful in like keeping humans like living longer ever since they came up with it. Why is God so bad at this? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Evidence that shows that when you sin, this part of your brain decreases. But look at what the Bible says here. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 18. I'm not going to do that NIV.
Don't you think like isn't there just like different types of sin? Like sex is objectively, as far as I understand, like good for the brain, right? Like that is just healthy. We know that like a healthy sex life is healthy, right? Having sex is healthy. And he's saying, but he would consider like sex sin unless it's like this very specific kind of sex that has to be kind of within the confines of a legal, like a government sanctioned relationship through this legal thing called marriage, right? And so that makes it not sinful. But like sex outside of that, it would still be sex whether it's within or outside of marriage. So we know that's good for you. I don't understand. Like I just feel like this is really silly. It's so easy to find examples of it not working this way.
Version, I'm gonna do that. NKJV. So let's let this. There we go. Having their understanding darkened.
Thank you. Yeah, AJ said it's a survival. Animals have it too, but don't tell the Christian that. I know. Yeah, animals have a will to live. It's crazy. I don't know if I. That's why my dog freaks out every time my feed the dog alarm goes off, because it's like I actually would like to keep living. Are you going to give me the food that I need to be able to do that? And then that's what that fucking noise means on your phone. That's a specific noise that means I get to eat food now, because I actually would like to keep living. Like it's so silly, man.
Let's pull back a couple verses actually, so that we really understand what he's trying to say here, y'all. We can't just be getting this out of context. All right, let's go to verse.
Hold on, I gotta hear him say that. I wasn't paying. I was reading John's the comment there that I'm gonna get to in a second, but I gotta take it in the context, man. What?
A couple verses actually, so that we really understand what he's trying to say here, y'all. We can't just be getting this out of context.
Yeah, man. Why are you talking like Towley from South Park? What's going on, man? Yo, yo. Wow.
All right, let's go to verse 17.
Okay, before we do that, John, hey, what's up, dude? Said, hey, dude, weigh the power juice. You can prove this hypothesis by quantifying the growth and correlating it to the willpower increase, or this is a scam to sell books. The part, the scam to sell books part. I think, I'm glad you included that in your comment there, because I think that's that's it. What kills me, and this is kind of off topic, but I can't believe how fucking often I have to have these conversations with people that are like acting like the health industry or whatever, like the pharmaceutical industries and just like the medical industry itself, that's like trying to keep people sick or whatever. And the wellness industry is the cure for it. You know, there's this stuff it grows just out of the fucking ground. And then that will keep you like not sick better than the medical like anything you can get from the medical establishment, right? And it's like I don't know how it's so difficult to try to sit there and explain to them that, like, you know, natural doesn't equal good for you. There are natural poisons, there are man-made medications that no natural anything can touch as far as its helpfulness to people surviving, like cancer cures and stuff, or cancer treatments, and things like that, right? And it's just like, it's so weird that they've literally gotten themselves to doubt the establishment of medical science and everything. The thing that you can literally sue for, right? You can actually sue. Like, if you know, there's class action fucking lawsuits and stuff. There's medical malpractice. Like, there's actual shit that you can take up legal means against, right? Because it's, you know, so it's that, like, so if it doesn't work, you can sue, kind of thing, right? Which is sort of like, shouldn't you understand that makes it more valid than the fucking wellness bullshit that you can't sue? You can't sue anything. There's no medical malpractice for the fucking herbal guy down the street. You can't go back to him like, hey man, you said that this was going to cure my body. I'm suing you, buddy. Okay, I'm suing you because you said that natural herb would cure me, and it did it. And they have these people thinking this stuff so, like, in such a backwards way that it blows my mind. I'm just so confused. Like, I feel like that right there, what I just said, I've explained 30 fucking times in like the last, I don't know, year or something like that, you know, with just these people like, yeah, the medical industry just wants to keep you sick, man. No, the wellness industry, I'm like, no, the wellness industry just wants to keep you believing that. That's what that is, so that you can buy their bullshit. And they have no responsibility to actually follow through with actually doing what they say that it does. But anyway, so just, you know, it's like a tangent, but that's just been bothering the fuck out of me lately. It's just is an irritating thing that people constantly bring up. But
this I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord, that you should no longer walk as the rest of the Gentiles walk, in the futility of their mind, having their understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them.
Okay, yeah. And the reason I was saying that was because this guy, Cap Chatfield, is constantly saying that the medical industry is trying to get stuff. That's what got me there with this whole him trying to talk about health shit, because he's one of the ones that's like so anti-medical establishment shit. Anyway, Kari said, why wouldn't God give us the recipe for soap? Right? It's been very helpful in regards to keeping us, you know, not dying from bacterial infections and shit or whatever, right? Like, we're just killing viruses and stuff on our hands. Like, wasn't it it was like the one doctor, what was it, like back in the 1800s or something? It's probably earlier than that now I think about it. But like, they just started having the surgeons wash their hands and had like way more success, and people like got mad about it or something. They wanted to say that wasn't actually what it was, and like there was pushback to germ theory because of that. I don't know. It was like a whole thing. I gotta go back and check like on it more thoroughly, but I just remember them discovering it that way and actually having pushback on, hey, washing your hands is good. You know, they're like, fuck you, I don't have to wear a seatbelt. You know, you just want the government to tell us what to do everything. You know, now we're gonna start washing our hands too, or whatever. You know, that kind of mentality these people have. So funny.
Because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over to lewdness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. What is he saying?
Lewdness.
The Apostle Paul is saying here that
if you want to do some lewdness, while being nudeness, go to adamandeve.com. That's right. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brently. That's BRENTLY at checkout. It gets your exclusive offer. That's right. They got everything at adamandeve.com. Everything from, you know, lubes and sexy lingerie to dildos and BDSM restraints. all the way up. I mean, I think you just got to get the kennel from like the pet store or whatever, but they got big kennels at the pet store. You don't have to go to adamandeve.com for that, but they got like the handcuffs and stuff that you can use while in the kennel that you get from the pet store. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff. Anyway, go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. And they do have even some extra sales going on right now, up until this coming weekend, which is Valentine's Day, which is kind of their big day. Okay, so go take advantage of those deals that you can get at adamandeve.com and get your butt some stuff. Right. But hey, thank you all so much for hanging out. If you want to support the show, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or you can do a bunch of other shit, right? You can become a patron, right? I'm working on something I'm going to put up there just recently. And I'm going to be, you can also do a one-time payment on Cash App, right? You do cash tag is Punk Apostate. Become a member by hitting that join button and get extra live streams every so often. You can also email me at punkapostate@gmail.com if you want to just tell me if I got anything wrong, or you just want a private correspondence that isn't like in the comment section or something like that. Totally cool. Totally get it. Send me an email. If you can also join our Discord and follow me on stuff, which is all the links and for my socials and stuff will be below. Follow me on all that stuff. Interact anytime you want. It's a lot of fun. I've been interacting more on the socials. So yeah, hit me up. But hey, the main thing though is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.